Harry's wand saved him with golden fire. Ron's blew up in his face. And Voldemort's? It betrayed him. Why? It all comes down to two things: wood and core. The wood defines its character. The core fuels its magical power. Get them right, and you've got an ally. Get them wrong, and your wand makes you vomit slugs. Let's talk about the cores. Phoenix Feather. Phoenix Feather is one of Ollivander's 3 supreme cores, and also the rarest. These wands are independent, almost stubborn, and they decide when they'll work at their best. If you want a wand that behaves like a soldier, obeying every command, a Phoenix Feather will frustrate you. These wands prefer witches and wizards who prove themselves through courage and persistence, not just raw power. The most famous example came from Fawkes, Dumbledore's Phoenix. One feather in Harry's Holly Wand, another in Voldemort's Yew. When they clashed in the graveyard, the duel collapsed into Priori Incantatem. Voldemort's wand regurgitated past murders, and Harry survived, not because he was stronger, but because the cores refused to fight each other. That's a fact that many Potterheads hate to accept. Harry didn't beat Voldemort that night. His wand's core rewrote the rules. So, who should carry a Phoenix Feather? Those willing to wait, endure, and earn loyalty. Everyone else will call these wands inconsistent, when really it's the caster who fell short. Dragon Heartstring. If Phoenix Feather is the cautious partner, Dragon Heartstring is the brute force warrior. These wands are famous for raw power and for learning spells quickly. They're also the most accident prone and the most likely to switch allegiance if their owner is defeated. To many duelists, that makes them perfect. They reward strength, not history. But here's the controversy. Dragon cores have a reputation for drifting toward the dark arts. Not because they're evil, but because they respond to ambition and willpower, wherever that leads. If you're a cautious academic, you might hate the way a dragon wand pushes you. If you're ruthless or simply bold, it will make you unstoppable. Ollivander himself admitted Dragon Heartstring was the easiest core to turn to darker uses. Yet Hermione Granger's wand held one, proving that discipline can master even the wildest dragon. If you're looking for safe, steady magic, stay away. If you want a wand that demands dominance and pays back with devastating power, Dragon Heartstring is the core you choose. Unicorn Hair. Unicorn Hair is the last of Ollivander's 3 supreme cores, and it's the steady one. If Dragon is about force and Phoenix about independence, Unicorn is about consistency and ethics. These wands produce reliable, even magic with very little fluctuation. They aren't the flashiest in a duel, but spells land clean, shields hold, and charms behave the same on day 1 and day 100. Loyalty is the key. Unicorn Hair wands bond deeply with their first owner and are notoriously hard to win over. Even if you defeat the witch or wizard, the wand may perform, but never at full confidence, because it still remembers who it chose. That's why some duelists sneer and call this core boring. The criticism misses the point. Unicorn Hair resists the dark arts and almost never misfires under stress. Reliability wins more duels than showmanship ever will. Who should carry it? Healers, teachers, and aurors who value control over spectacle. If your style is careful, precise, and principled, Unicorn Hair will amplify that. If you want instant fireworks and shortcuts, you'll call it weak, when it's really calling you undisciplined. Thestral Tail Hair. Thestral Tail Hair is rare, difficult, and infamous because it sits at the heart of the Elder Wand. The association with death isn't superstition. Thestrals are literally visible only to those who've witnessed it, so the symbolism is baked in. This core is not part of Ollivander's usual trio, and that's telling. Thestral Hair demands clarity of will. If you hesitate or second-guess yourself, it feels erratic. In the hands of a focused witch or wizard, it channels power with unnerving directness. Now, some fans think Elderwood with Thestral Hair equals the Elder Wand. It doesn't. Its power came from conquest and allegiance, not ingredients. You could copy the materials, but never the history. Fans love to label Thestral Hair death magic. Here's the accurate version. It resonates with mastery under pressure and with the acceptance that power has a cost. It rewards resolve, not cruelty. Who should carry it? Casters who stay calm when everything breaks. If you want safe and steady, choose Unicorn. If you want raw acceleration, choose Dragon. If you can look straight at fear and keep keep casting, Thestral hair will answer. Veela hair. Veela hair is one of the rarest and most polarizing cores. Wand makers describe it as volatile because it reacts to emotion more than reason. A spell cast in anger will flare hotter. A charm whispered with grace can land with breathtaking elegance. These wands don't just channel magic, they magnify the caster's mood. The best known example is Fleur de la Cour. Her wand contained a single hair from her Veela grandmother, and that detail matters. A voluntary gift, especially through family, creates a stronger, more stable bond. Without that, Veela hair can feel unpredictable, almost mocking its owner. Fans often dismiss these wands as all style, no substance. That's lazy. When handled with balance, Veela hair produces enchantments that are both precise and disarming. It isn't a core for those chasing applause. It's for those willing to keep their emotions sharp enough to cut, but steady enough not to turn on themselves. It's risky, but risk and brilliance usually come as a package. Wampus cat hair. Wampus cat hair is a North American favorite built for duelists who move first and think while moving. These wands are responsive, punchy, and reward instinct. If Dragon Heartstring is power and Phoenix is depth, Wampus is muscle memory, quick reflexes, decisive casting, and a knack for reading an opponent's rhythm. Offense feels immediate. Counter curses snap back like whiplash. The trade-off? They dislike hesitation. Overanalyze a duel and the wand drags, like fighting through mud. American wand makers prize Wampus hair because it channels raw force without the instability of dragon cores. It suits confident, physically present casters, aurors who train hard, Quidditch keepers who became duel coaches, anyone whose body and magic are tightly synced. It isn't dark by nature, but it does amplify aggression, so an undisciplined owner will come off reckless. Instead of asking who should carry it, think about how it carries you. A Wampus wand pushes its master into the role of aggressor, demanding confidence at every turn. If you hesitate, it feels heavy and clumsy. If you act with conviction, it floods you with speed and force. That's why duelists say a Wampus wand doesn't just join the fight, it decides the fight's rhythm. Thunderbird feather. Thunderbird feather comes from a North American beast that can sense danger and whip up storms as it flies. Wands with this core feel charged, like casting inside a thunderhead. American wand maker Shikoba Wolf built her reputation on them. Extremely powerful, difficult to master, and famously prized by transfigurers. That combo tells you the rule of the core. It rewards bold, decisive magic and punishes timid, fussy casting. In practice, these wands feel hyper-responsive to the moment. Change your stance, commit to the spell, and the wand snaps with you. Fast shaping, fast impact. Hold back or hedge mid-cast and it turns your hesitation into noise. Duelists who grew up on Britain's Supreme 3 sometimes call Thunderbird chaotic. The American answer is simple. It isn't chaotic, you are. People love to call it storm magic. In truth, the creature makes storms. The core doesn't grant weather control. What it does is amplify dynamic, adaptive casting. If you live inside a fight, reading space, pressure, timing, Thunderbird feather will feel like a live wire in your hand. If you script every move in advance, it will expose you. Horned Serpent Horn. Horned Serpent Horn sits at the cerebral end of wandlore. These wands think with you. They favor clarity, analysis, and weeding out noise in the middle of panic. That reputation isn't folklore. It comes from Ilvermoini's earliest history. When Gormlaith Gaunt attacked, the Boot Brothers' horned serpent wands vibrated at the sound of Parseltongue and gave a low musical warning before danger crested. That's a literal documented behavior, not fan myth. So, what does that mean for the caster? Direction matters. If your intent is fuzzy, the wand feels hesitant. Tighten the idea, and it locks in with surgical precision. Compared to Wampus or Dragon, it's less about muscle and more about signal, perception, pattern, choice. British duelists sometimes dismiss it as bookish. They forget how often battles are decided by a half-second read, not a louder curse. The controversial truth? Many who fear horned serpent cores aren't scared of darkness, they're scared of feedback. This core mirrors your mind back to you. If you second guess, it stalls. If you decide, it accelerates. It isn't kinder than other cores. It's stricter. Bring a clear path or prepare to meet your own confusion in the wand hand. Now that we've seen the heart of a wand, let's look at its skin, the woods. Elder. Elder wood is one of the rarest and most enigmatic materials in wandlore. It's notorious for being difficult, even hostile toward witches and wizards who don't measure up. Tradition says Elder refuses the mediocre, and history backs that up. Incompatible owners describe it as heavy, unresponsive, or even dangerous to handle. In contrast, those who meet its demands speak of magic that feels sharper, faster, and almost effortless. This isn't the kind of wand that tolerates hesitation. Elder responds to willpower expressed as action, clear, immediate intent. If you posture or hold back, the wood seems to resist, as if it's daring you to prove you deserve it. That's why Elder has such a dramatic reputation. It doesn't create greatness, it amplifies it, and it exposes weakness with equal force. Throughout magical history, Elder wands have almost always belonged to figures who were decisive, sometimes heroic, sometimes terrifying. The wood's consistency is in its selectiveness, not its mortality. Elder magnifies purpose. That's what makes it both revered and feared, a wand that thrives in the hands of the few rare willing to act without doubt. Yew carries a reputation that makes people nervous. It's tied to graveyards and longevity, so its symbolism spans life and death. In wandlore, that translates to range, powerful protective charms on one end, devastating curses on the other. The wood doesn't force a path, it reflects the caster's intent with unnerving honesty. Voldemort's wand is the famous example. Yew wood paired with a phoenix feather core. So many fans write Yew off as evil. That's lazy thinking. The wood didn't choose cruelty, Tom Riddle did. What Yew actually demands is conviction. It favors witches and wizards who decide quickly and don't flinch. Doubt muddies its output. Resolve makes it razor sharp. This is why Yew wielders tend to be feared or revered with very little middle ground. The same intensity that powers dark curses can lock down a battlefield with impenetrable shields. The controversial truth? Some heroes dislike Yew because it reveals whether their virtue is real or just branding. If you're chasing approval, this wood will betray you. If you're committed, right or wrong, it will follow your decision all the way to the end. Holly is a wood steeped in symbolism. In Muggle tradition, it's tied to protection and rebirth, and wandlore mirrors that reputation. Holly wands are rare and highly selective, choosing owners who carry deep purpose, often people wrestling with inner conflict. Rather than amplifying cruelty or raw ambition, holly tends to balance volatile cores, making them steadier in the hands of someone still finding their path. The most famous holly wand belonged to Harry Potter, paired with phoenix feather. That match wasn't random, a volatile core that demanded loyalty, tempered by a wood that shields and steadies. That combination gave Harry power without tipping him into the very darkness he was resisting. Some duelists dismiss holly as too soft. They're wrong. Its power lies in control and balance, not in spectacle. Holly wands often appear at turning points in magical history, favoring witches and wizards who must choose between light and shadow. They don't make the choice for you. They just hold you steady long enough to make it yourself. That quiet role, guardian more than weapon, is what makes holly so underrated and so dangerous to underestimate. Ash is a wood with a reputation for loyalty. An ash wand bonds deeply with its first master and rarely transfers with ease. That devotion is both its strength and its warning. Once it is chosen, it expects conviction in return. Ollivander described ash as a wood suited to strong-willed leaders, witches and wizards who act with clarity and stand by their choices. A hesitant owner will find the wand stiff and uncooperative. In contrast, someone with conviction experiences ash as steady, forceful, and deeply reliable. That's why wand makers caution against letting others handle an ash wand too often. Its allegiance runs deeper than curiosity allows. In magical history, ash appears again and again in the hands of influential figures who shaped their communities, for better or worse. The wood doesn't dictate morality, it amplifies leadership. Fans sometimes confuse loyalty with gentleness, but ash is proof that loyalty can be fierce. It doesn't bend easily, it doesn't forgive doubt, and in the hands of a decisive witch or wizard, it can feel unstoppable. Hawthorn is the contradiction wood. In wandlore, it's praised for healing work and feared for its affinity with curses. Two talents that shouldn't live in the same branch and yet do. Hawthorn wands often choose witches and wizards with inner conflict, someone carrying scars, shame, or a double life. That tension isn't a weakness, it's the very thing Hawthorn amplifies. When intent is sharp, its spells are razor precise. When intent falters, the wand may sputter or misfire. The best-known Hawthorn wand belonged to Draco Malfoy, paired with a unicorn hair core. That combination was powerful, but also temperamental, perfectly matching Draco's mixture of arrogance, fear, fear and hidden loyalty struggles. Later, when Harry wielded Draco's wand after Malfoy Manor, it proved capable in his hands as well, showing how Hawthorne responds to decisive will, even outside its first owner. Its dual nature, healing and harm, means Hawthorne reflects the contradictions of its master. The same wand that can mend can also destroy, depending entirely on the choice in the moment. That's why Hawthorne inspires awe and unease alike. It forces its wielder to reveal what side they're truly on. English oak. English oak is known as the guardian wood. Folklore describes oak as enduring and protective, and in wandlore it serves much the same role. Oak wands favor owners who are steady, dependable, and grounded, people who act with conviction rather than impulse. Oak wands are rare but not unheard of, and they've often been carried by witches and wizards closely tied to nature or protective roles. Hagrid's wand, concealed in his pink umbrella after his expulsion, was made of oak. Even broken, it retained enough strength to perform spells, from simple charms to defensive bursts, showing oak's resilience and reliability. Oak magic feels rooted, like strength drawn from deep earth, perfect for protective charms, elemental transfigurations, and creature-related magic. Oak wands dislike deception or manipulation. Their power flows best when the purpose is honest and firm. That's why oak carries a reputation for guardianship. It isn't flamboyant or fast, but when asked to protect, endure, or shield, it answers like a wall, solid, immovable, and loyal to those who stand their ground. Willow. Willow is the quiet survivor of wand woods. In wandlore, it's linked to healing and recovery, and it often chooses witches and wizards who've been knocked down and got back up. That doesn't mean it's soft. Willow rewards practicality over drama, steady spellwork, clean counters, and endurance in long fights. When other woods chase spectacle, Willow keeps you in the duel. Shield up, aim true, move on. Ron Weasley's second wand was Willow paired with unicorn hair, and that pairing explains the reputation. Reliable, forgiving of stress, and focused on getting the job done. If you come from chaos, family pressure, constant setbacks, Willow's stability feels like an anchor. Critics call it plain because it isn't flashy. They're missing the point. Willow values usefulness, not applause. In practice, casting feels springy and responsive, especially with defensive charms and practical transfiguration. The wood seems to favor problem solvers who adapt mid-cast instead of grandstanders who overreach. The controversial take, Willow wins more real duels than louder woods because it keeps its wielder standing when others burn out. It won't make you a showman, it makes you effective. Vine. Vine is the intuitive wood. Ollivander's notes describe it as drawn to witches and wizards who seek something larger than themselves, people with purpose that isn't just power. A vine wand reads intent quickly. If your reason for casting is clear, the magic feels like it meets you halfway. If your motive is shallow or borrowed, the wand feels distant, as if it's waiting for the real you to show up. Hermione Granger's wand is the classic example. Vinewood with a dragon heartstring core, intellect plus drive, tempered by a conscience that refuses shortcuts. That's the pattern. Vine doesn't reward empty ambition. It rewards directed ambition. It's a favorite for precise charms, controlled transfiguration, and magic, where timing and judgment matter more than volume. Vine also has a reputation for revealing hidden talent. Put it in the hand of a distracted caster and it's unimpressed. Put it in the hand of someone with a clear problem to solve and it unlocks finesse they didn't know they had. Some duelists dismiss that as bookish. Fine. Vine prefers vision over noise, and it exposes pretenders faster than almost any other would. Ron's wand exploded. Voldemort's betrayed him. But the most dangerous wand in history? Snape's teaching that class next, right here at Stickman Hogwarts. Click the video before he gives your seat away.